I always found it puzzling that these people won't bathe.
Hello. Today we're talking about another new release for Skyrim. Sorry. I mean Tainted Grail. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, is an upcoming open-world RPG set in a unique, grim world inspired by Arthurian legends. And I have to say, it's one of the best fantasy open-world RPGs I've played in years. If you love RPGs, join our Discord. We've recently set it up with the goal to build a great community of RPG fans. Fall of Avalon is one of those games that immerses you right from the moment you open it. As you see the main menu, you know you're in for an amazing experience. When you click New Game, you're presented with 3 options. The Prologue. This is strongly recommended for first-time players as it serves as a tutorial, easing you into the mechanics and the world. The Horns of the South. This area becomes available after finishing the Prologue, but you can also skip the Prologue and start here if you want. The Cuanacht Rebellion. Added in the latest patch, this is the second act of the game. It lets you jump in with the preset level 20 character, but it's only recommended for experienced players. What's great is that you can seamlessly travel between the 2 acts, offering a flexible and cohesive experience. I decided to start with the Prologue since it was my first time playing. Once you choose your starting area, a female voice sets the stage, narrating the story and the Arthurian setting of the game.
The all-consuming Red Death. 600 years ago, King Arthur led the Great Escape from the homelands, where our kingdoms were ravaged by the plague. Leading people to Avalon, he started the Age of Conquest and took the island from the Four-Dwellers. Using the mysterious powers of Menhirs, together with Merlin, they cleansed the land of the Wyrdness, a primordial force of chaos and possibility. But now, long after the death of the king, Camelot is in shambles as Avalon fractures into chaos. Old legends are gone, and the Wyrdness is creeping back into our lands. The bleeding heart of the plague has started beating once more. And the Red Death has returned. Rulers of the island asylum, an order of the Red Priests, are desperate to stop it by any means necessary. Rotting in one of their cells is a stranger who might bring a spark of change to this cursed island stuck in everlasting autumn.
After the narration, it's time to create your character. Keep in mind that the game is still in early access, so more customization options may be added in the future. Currently, the game offers 4 character presets, 2 male and 2 female, but even with just these presets, there's a lot you can customize. You can tweak your character's face and even choose between a muscular body or one like myself, giving you more decent options to work with. When it comes to hairstyles, there's a surprising variety. You've got long hair, braided ponytails, man buns, and several good short hairstyle options. For facial hair, there are 7 styles available at the moment. Most of them gave off serious California hipster vibes, so I opted for the clean-shaven look. Hopefully we'll see some more diverse options in future updates. After deciding to look like a quintessential upper-class British gentleman, it was time to choose the difficulty. The game offers 5 difficulty modes. Easy is perfect for those looking for a relaxed experience. Normal provides a moderate challenge for most players. Hard is a challenging mode for experienced players seeking intense gameplay. Survival adds an extra layer of difficulty by only allowing saves at campfires. And hardcore, or permadeath, is the ultimate test of skill. There's only 1 save slot, and it gets deleted upon death. You know, the stereotypical options. After selecting the difficulty, the game begins in a way that will feel similar to Elder Scrolls fans. You start in a jail cell, with no background explanation. It's here that you choose your character's background, which determines your starting playstyle. However, I believe you can still create a hybrid build later in the game, allowing for more flexibility in how you develop your character. Because I was running around with a fire spell in one hand and a sword in the other later in the game, even after selecting the background for a tank person. However, the background you choose sets the foundation for your character's abilities, at least as far as I know. For example, if you tell the guard you were out hunting before getting caught, you'll play as a ranger-type character with a +3 bonus in archery, medium armor, and sneak. On the other hand, if you tell him you were enlisting in the army, you'll take the role of a fighter tank type, gaining a +3 bonus in 1- and 2-handed weapons, heavy armor, and blocking. If you prefer the magic route, you can claim you were on your way to an ancient worship site, which gives you a +6 bonus in magic. There's also the option to remain silent, which I'm guessing is the way to go if you want to create a custom character. How you choose your background matters because it influences the next choice you're given. Since I chose that I was enlisting in the army, the guard followed up by asking which division I was joining. Infantry, archers, battle mages, healers, and this choice further determines your playstyle. Selecting infantry grants additional bonus points for one-handed combat, making you more effective in close-quarters battles. Choosing archers enhances your skill in, you guessed it, archery. Opting for battle mages gives you more points in magic, along with a fire spell. Lastly, picking healers provides bonus points in alchemy and grants a healing spell, focusing on support and survivability. Once you're done making your choices, the guard is suddenly killed by this guy who shows up out of nowhere and tells you to escape.
I always found it puzzling that these people won't bathe. You, I understand, you're literally rotting in this damned cell, but them, there's just no excuse for the stench. There they are, finally. I know, you have a million questions forming in your head, but they'll have to wait. One of these keys will open your cell. When you get out, head left. I'll scout ahead.
Right, first mission, escape the prison. The gameplay is identical to Skyrim. Longtime Elder Scrolls fans will feel right at home here. There's no need to familiarize yourself with the controls. But it does have more quality of life improvements. You can swap weapon loadouts on the fly, with up to 4 sets prepared in advance. For example, if you have a bow assigned to hotkey 2 and a sword to hotkey 1, you can quickly switch to the sword when an enemy gets too close by simply pressing 1. You can also assign potions, food, and other consumables to quick slots, making them easily accessible during combat. There's even an autofill slot that automatically gets populated with suitable items, saving you time. Additionally, you can assign throwable items like knives to these quick slots, adding more versatility to your combat options. Armor is divided into 4 categories: head, body, arms, and legs. You also have limited slots for rings and other enhancements to customize your character further. There are no separate menus for inventory, quests, equipment, and stats. They're all in the same place. However, it's not confusing at all. You can easily cycle between them without any issues. Overall, inventory management feels smooth and well organized. Let's talk about combat. It feels like a refined version of Skyrim's combat system, with the same core controls and mechanics at play. However, it's much more satisfying to land hits and block enemy attacks. There's a weight to it. If you love Skyrim combat or other Elder Scrolls games, imagine it run through a smooth filter. That's what Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, offers. Both blocking and striking enemies consume stamina, and you can parry if you time your blocks right. A successful parry depletes your enemy's stamina, causing them to become staggered. There's also a dash mechanic that comes in handy, especially against stronger enemies. You can also slow down time for a short period, which is cool and useful, particularly when dealing with mobs. Using spells consumes mana, but since I was playing a fighter class, I didn't get to fully explore that. There's an alchemy system in the game, and you'll need recipes to make potions. From what I've gathered, the outcome of a potion depends on your alchemy skill and the ingredients you use. A single recipe can yield either a common or uncommon potion, depending on these factors. However, I'm not entirely sure, as I haven't fully explored the alchemy mechanics. I'm still in the prologue area. Let me know if you'd like a video diving into that. In addition to alchemy, you can cook. If you don't have a recipe, you can use random ingredients, and the game will generate the best combination based on your cooking proficiency. While the rest of the game is open world, the prologue area is linear, and you can't open the map. It serves as a well-crafted tutorial, teaching you the basics of the game. The only path forward is the way to go. though you do have the option to choose between going straight or taking a detour through a torturer's chamber. If you're sneaky enough, you can avoid enemies along the way. Aside from that, there's not much in terms of traversal in this area. You'll find some lore notes scattered around. These detail the inmates of the prison, how the guards torture them, and other bits of backstory. There's also a fair amount of random loot to collect. The person who freed me is waiting near the end of the dungeon. He tells me to follow the path straight ahead to the beach and compliments me for not asking any questions.
You took your sweet time, eh? But I understand. I did too when I was leaving this place for the first time. You have to admit, the Red Priests are quite resourceful when it comes to death and dying. Oh, I don't believe this. I'm finally blessed with someone who understands the situation they're in and doesn't ask stupid questions that can wait for a better moment. I'm told this path leads to the beach. I don't know how, but if it's true, then I'll wait there for you until dusk. Good luck.
I followed his advice and went straight ahead, only to end up in a whole different Oblivion-like realm after touching a morbid statue at the end of the dungeon. Everything here is floating. It's an eerie, otherworldly space, and I'm sure there's some lore that explains what this place is all about. I encountered a spirit, or some kind of being. I'm not entirely sure what it was, and it seems like even the entity itself isn't quite sure either.
I wish I could answer. I cannot remember. I know I am not complete. I remember I once knew who I was. At some point, but I do not anymore. I just am. I do not know. I think it is some kind of prison deep in the weirdness. You are looking for a way out yourself. I think we might be able to help one another with that. I shall do something now. But trust me, the discomfort will be worth the outcome.
The being granted me the power of temporal hold, allowing me to slow down time. I'm pretty sure he gave me the ability to build bridges, something I couldn't do before, even when I interacted with the control panel. In exchange for these powers, he will possess my body for a while to help him escape this strange realm. After escaping, I'm tasked with finding the rest of his shattered pieces to make him whole again. I can locate these pieces whenever I step into the Wyrdness Realms. While I have the option to reject this second request, I chose to accept it. After all, why not help a being that grants me powers and possesses my body without my permission? Once that's done, I'm teleported back to the dungeon, this time heading toward the actual exit. I came across two massive creatures, turning wheels that generate power to run the entire prison. As I approach, I'm greeted by a mini-boss who shoots fire projectiles at me. Fortunately, I can block these attacks with my sword. He is dealt with quickly. Finally, I reach the beach, where the person who freed me is arguing with two others who, it turns out, are also prisoners. The first thing I learn from their conversation is that his name is Caradoc. The next revelation is even more surprising. We need to kill King Arthur. Yeah, King Arthur.
There he is. Now that we're all here, meet your new comrades, Conquer and Syria. Get some rest, people, and prepare for the journey. We're leaving at dusk.
Not so fast, brother. I'm not getting near a goddamn boat unless I know where I'm going.
Away from here, brother. Isn't that enough?
If you wish. But since we're all here and we have some time to kill, it would be nice if you finally explained what the hell's going on. You've helped us leave our cages, great. But even though we're grateful, you owe us an explanation. What do you want from us?
To show some damn gratitude for one thing.
Caradoc, we weren't born yesterday. No one would risk getting into trouble with the priests for nothing. Why did you save us?
I need you to kill King Arthur.
You're insane. He's insane.
The King Arthur that has already been dead for 600 years, King Arthur.
Apparently people keep bringing him back from the dead, and that's obviously causing some problems. That's the core of the main story. To accomplish this, we need to head to the Horns of the South and take Excalibur. But before we leave, it's time to get some rest. To do that, we need to set up a bonfire. There are some interesting mechanics tied to this process. For example, you need to ensure the fire stays bright if you want protection from the weirdness and dark creatures while resting at night. The bonfire also allows you to craft potions, fast travel, and identify items. Additionally, it's the place where you level up. Stats in Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, are action-based. For example, if you sneak around often, your sneaking skill will improve over time. The more you do something, the better you get at it. Similar to how we'd craft 1,000 steel daggers to level up in Skyrim. The more you engage in an activity, the stronger you become in that area. I love games that do it this way. Skills in Tainted Grail are divided into 5 categories: strength, endurance, dexterity, spirituality, and perception. Strength-based skills include things like two-handed weapon hits that deplete a percentage of the target's stamina. There's also the executioner skill, which adds 20 to your block. Endurance-based skills enhance your shield's ability to reflect arrows and throwable items. Spirituality is essentially your magic skills, allowing spells to charge faster and providing other cool abilities that I'm eager to explore more. Perception-based skills boost your character's chance of landing critical hits. Right now, the skill tree is fairly small, limiting the ability to experiment with different builds. However, the developers are likely working on expanding it. I also want to take a moment to appreciate the amazing sound design and music. From the moment you open the menu, the game pulls you right in. Little sound bites that pan around when you open your inventory or skill menu play a big role in setting the tone and atmosphere. The soundtrack is up there with the best RPGs of recent years. Let's talk about performance and graphics so far. Do not expect AAA-level graphical fidelity with this one. It's an indie project with the goal to create a living and breathing open-world RPG with a lot of soul. The team is around 50 people, maybe a little more. According to the early access page, there are minor bugs, although I have not experienced anything of the sort yet. Nothing major. It does stutter a little bit in some situations, but that's not really game-breaking. I'm not really an expert on this subject, but the game ran fine on my system. Do keep in mind that I'm playing on version 0.7, and I've been made aware that the developers are working on version 1.0, so expect a lot more polish in the final release. But the key thing I look for is the core of a game, whether it has enough substance to keep you invested. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon has that, and it has the potential to build even further upon that solid foundation. There's a lot more to talk about with this game. The full version promises further developments of all core game systems. More visual and audio polish, more gameplay features and improvements, also things like mounts, thievery system, housing that I did not talk about in this video. Let me know if you're interested in watching more videos about this game. Leave a like on the video, it really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel.